Wednesday, September 3rd, 2025. That's the day our story begins, when Astrid Armus became the first human to detect a message from beyond Earth. It came as a cosmic signal, only readable through math. But somehow, the aliens already knew our language.
With their level of tech, sure, they could have sent the message in English or Korean, whatever. But with interstellar communication, it's all about efficiency. The message was perfectly optimized for quantum data transfer. And the moment I cracked it, I shouted, "Eureka!"